Hello everyone. I want to show you how to navigate our D2L site and show you how to access the content that I've created for you for Bio 210 and basically how the course is going to go. So on our D2L site, you can see first of all, I've embedded a YouTube video from something called Crash Course. This is a YouTube channel that has all sorts of different subjects. The one we're focusing on, obviously, is anatomy and physiology. You can think of this as your online lecturer. These videos are pretty good. They're certainly better than anything I can do at this point. There's really cool graphics and so on, and it's fairly entertaining. There's no need to reinvent the wheel here from my perspective, so I'm going to use these videos, but kind of give you some pointers on what to focus on as you watch these videos, okay? So on the left side of D2L here, there's going to be modules uploaded for each week. Now you can see I've already created the modules for week 1 and week 2 modules I'm currently working on. So the modules for week 1 are ready. We're going to have 2 modules, an introduction, and then one over cells, tissues, and histology. So I'm going to show you how to utilize these modules and how to start learning this content. So I'm going to actually click on module 2 because this is the one that has a bit more content in it and is a bit more interactive. So we click on module 2. You'll see the PDF document that I've created for you. Now you always want to download this PDF and don't just view it in the D2L browser, okay? So click enable features, and then I like to get rid of that thing over there. And so here's the topic that we're covering in this module. So this is over a little bit of cell physiology, tissues, and histology, which is the study of tissues. So here's the learning objectives for this particular module. And then most importantly, when is the assessment due? You can see that there's going to be a 20-question quiz over this module that you will complete on D2L by Friday, May 24th at 9 p.m. So you'll see that actually, if we go back to course home, you'll see that due date's right here for module 2. So if we go back to the module, you can see I've actually provided you with links to the crash course videos that I'm recommending that you watch. Tissues is a very broad topic. So there's a couple different videos on YouTube, kind of dividing tissues up into different sections. I've also included for you to first watch is a general video over a little bit of cell physiology, especially membranes and transport, which is a very important topic that we cover in A&P. This happens to be part of the biology crash course, not the A&P crash course. So if you click on one of these, this will open up this video. Of course, we watch the ad. Okay. So here's the video. So as you can see, there's really good animations, way better than anything I could ever do. And the guy who narrates this is fairly entertaining, although you'll probably be tired of him by the end of all these modules. So you're going to watch these YouTube lectures. Now, what do I want you to learn from them? Well, let's go back to the module. Down here are the things I want you to really focus on as you're watching each module. So, or as you're watching each video. So you want to have this on your screen or print it out, set aside, and kind of focus on these topics that he's mentioning, okay? So again, you can kind of think of this as your online lecture. Now, of course, we have our free textbook, OpenStax. And so I've given you the corresponding chapter and sections I would like you to read. So cells and tissues covers chapters 3 and 4. there's the sections I would like you to read. As far as I'm concerned, anything in those sections is fair game. And because there's a lot of figures, and I find that figures oftentimes convey a lot of very good information, you can see there's a number of figures I would like you to study in chapters 3 and 4, and even a couple tables. Okay. Now, with tissues, we do have a lab component, the histology component. And so in order to help you view these tissues online, I found this website called Histology Guide, which has this feature called a slide box. And so what I've done is provided you with direct links to all these different tissues that I want you to study. And I've actually linked directly to what I consider to be the best view. Okay, so I'll give you an example here. I'm just going to go over one of these, cardiac muscle. So if I click on cardiac muscle, it's going to open up cardiac muscle. Now, a preview of the slide is actually over here on the right. These are the two tissue sections that are stained in on this slide. I've taken you to what I consider to be the best view. You should be able to look at this and immediately say, that is cardiac tissue, cardiac muscle. Now, how do I know? Well, you see these little dark lines here? They almost look like little staples. Those are called intercalated discs. Okay, it actually mentions that right here. Okay, intercalated discs. So over here on the right is where it talks about these tissues and gives you some important information. The cool thing about this website is you can zoom out, you can zoom in, and you can pan around and explore the tissue. It's just like looking under a microscope, but online. Now, let me pull up another tissue, areolar. So this is a very common connective tissue in the body. This is kind of like the body's bubble wrap. Again, I've taken you to what I consider to be the optimal view. You should see something similar to this and immediately say that is areolar connective tissue. Okay. So again, on the right, it gives you some important information about this tissue. It tells you which fibers you're looking at. So for example, the pinkish reddish fibers, like this big one running right along here, that's a collagen fiber. That makes it kind of tough, strong. And then we also have some elastic fibers that are thin and dark. So for example, right there is an elastic fiber. It makes this tissue kind of stretchy. All right. So again, I can zoom out, I can zoom in, and I can kind of pan around. Now, it just so happens that the two tissues I've showed you are fairly homogeneous. In other words, the whole slide looks the same. Let's look at a tissue that has some differences throughout the slide. And you can see why I've linked you directly to the best view. Let's click on an epithelial tissue, pseudostratified columnar. All right. Now here, again, I would expect you to see this and immediately say, this is pseudostratified columnar epithelial tissue. How do I know it? Well, it's called pseudostratified because these column-shaped cells, these columnar cells, they have the appearance of being stratified, meaning two different layers, but they're really not. Okay, so for example, here's a little one down here, and here's one above it. Okay, they look like they're stacked, but they're not. Here's another one down here. Okay, here's one up here, one down there, one up there. They're not really stacked. If they were truly stacked, we would say they're stratified, but they're not. They're kind of intermixed with one another. Okay, the other thing that is a giveaway is these cilia. These cilia tell me that this is pseudostratified columnar epithelial tissue. And I know that this is in the respiratory system. This is in the trachea. Okay, so it tells you that over here. Now, if I zoom out, you can see that this is actually fairly complex tissue. Okay, so here's the pseudostratified columnar tissue here. Okay, here's some connective tissue under it, and here's some cartilage right here. All right, so again, I've kind of directed you to the optimal view so that you should immediately know what tissue I want you to identify. Okay, so for this module, again, click on each link, look at the optimal view, read the information on the right, and feel free to zoom in, zoom out, and scroll around and examine this tissue. Okay, so that's how you use the slide box on Histology Guide.